Have you ever noticed how myths from completely different cultures feel strangely similar? It's not just a coincidence. These aren't just fantasy stories. They're a map of the human mind, a blueprint of our deepest fears, hopes, and questions. Across the globe, our ancestors were all trying to answer the same things. Where did we come from? Why are we here? And what happens when it's all over? Today, we're diving into the universal patterns woven into the fabric of global mythology, uncovering a story that's not just about gods and monsters, but about us. Let's start at the very beginning. Before time, before light, there was chaos. The Greeks called it chaos, a formless, gaping void. In Norse mythology, it was Ginnunga, the yawning abyss between fire and ice. The Yoruba people of West Africa speak of a watery, primeval chaos. It seems our ancestors universally agreed that before order, there was a great, untamed nothingness. But how do you get a universe from nothing? The answer, almost always, is sacrifice. The Norse gods, Odin and his brothers slay the giant Ymir, and from his body, they build the world. His blood becomes the oceans, his skull, the sky. In China, the cosmic giant Pangu dies, and his breath becomes the wind, his eyes, the sun and moon. In India, the cosmic man Purusha is sacrificed, and from his body, all of creation, including the social castes, is formed. This isn't just a gruesome detail, it's a profound statement. It tells us that, for something new to be born, something old must be given up. Creation requires sacrifice, so the world is made. Now, what about us? Humanity's origin story is remarkably consistent. We are almost always a blend of the humble and the divine. The Greeks believed Prometheus fashioned us from clay and water, with Athena breathing life into us. In the Abrahamic traditions, Adam is formed from the dust of the earth and given life by God's breath. The Nua of Chinese mythology molds people from the yellow earth. We are literally down-to-earth creatures, yet touched by something divine. This duality defines our struggle. We are tied to the mud, but we yearn for the stars. And as soon as humanity appears on the scene, so does another key figure. The trickster. Think of Loki in Norse myths, a chaotic force who both helps and hinders the gods. Or Anansi, the spider in West African folklore, who uses his wits to hoard all the world's stories. In Native American traditions, Coyote is a classic example, a foolish, clever, and often lewd character whose blunders and schemes end up shaping the world. These tricksters are more than just cosmic pranksters. They are the agents of change. They break rules, challenge authority, and push boundaries, forcing society to adapt and evolve. Without them, the world would be static, and we'd never progress. Progress, however, often comes with a price. And one of the most widespread warnings in mythology is the Great Flood. You know Noah's Ark, but have you heard of Manu in the Hindu scriptures, who was warned by the god Vishnu in the form of a fish to build a great boat? Or Utnapishtim in the Mesopotamian epic of Gilgamesh, who survives a flood sent by angry gods? From the Aztecs to the Aboriginal Australians, tales of a world-drowning flood are everywhere. These aren't just stories about bad weather. They are moral resets. Humanity becomes corrupt, arrogant, or disobedient, and the gods decide to wipe the slate clean, saving only a worthy few to start anew. It's a powerful reminder that our actions have consequences on a cosmic scale, but even after a cataclysm, life must go on. This is where we see another universal pattern, the hero's journey. Joseph Campbell famously mapped this out. A hero receives a call to adventure, leaves their ordinary world, faces trials and tribulations, achieves a great victory, and returns home transformed, bringing a gift or boon to their community. Whether it's Odysseus trying to get home, King Arthur pulling the sword from the stone, or even Buddha leaving his palace to find enlightenment, the structure is the same. It's a psychological roadmap for personal growth, a symbolic guide for anyone facing a challenge. It tells us that through struggle, we can find transformation. And what of the beings who oversee this grand drama? The gods themselves. Far from being perfect and all-powerful, The gods of mythology are often shockingly human. The Greek Olympians are a perfect example, constantly bickering, having affairs, and consumed by jealousy and vanity. Odin, the all-father of the Norse, is obsessed with gaining knowledge, even sacrificing his own eye for it. These flaws make the gods relatable. They grapple with the same emotions we do, just on an epic scale. Their stories aren't just celestial soap operas. They are cautionary tales about the dangers of unchecked power, pride, and desire. And where do mortals go when their time is up? Nearly every culture has a concept of an underworld. For the Greeks, it was Hades. For the Egyptians, the Duat. These weren't necessarily places of eternal punishment, like the modern concept of hell. More often, they were shadowy, neutral realms of transition, a place where souls waited. The journey to the underworld was perilous, a final test. This reflects a deep human need to understand what lies beyond death, to conceptualize the journey from the known to the unknown. Speaking of the unknown, the pursuit of knowledge is another recurring, and often dangerous, theme. Adam and Eve are cast out of paradise for eating from the tree of knowledge. Prometheus is brutally punished for giving fire, a symbol of technology and enlightenment to humanity. The message is clear. Knowledge is power, but it's also a burden. Some truths are dangerous, and the quest for understanding can come at a terrible cost. Ultimately, all these stories, all these struggles, point to one supreme law: balance. The universe exists in a delicate equilibrium. In Egyptian mythology, the goddess Mat represents truth, order, and cosmic balance. If her laws are broken, chaos ensues. In Chinese philosophy, the interplay of yin and yang describes how opposite forces are interconnected and interdependent. Good needs evil, light needs darkness, creation needs destruction. And what happens when this balance is severely threatened? We get monsters. Teminota, born of an unnatural union, represents the monstrous consequences of defying the natural order. Gwendolen Beowulf is a descendant of Cain, a physical embodiment of jealousy and social exile. These monsters are rarely just beasts to be slain. They are symbols of our own inner demons, our fears, and the societal taboos we've broken. They represent the chaos that lurks just beyond the firelight of civilization. And when that chaos finally wins, when the balance tips completely, we get the apocalypse. The Norse have Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, where the world is destroyed by fire and flood, only to be reborn, fresh and new. The Hindu concept of yugas describes vast cycles of time, where the universe is created, decays, is destroyed, and then created again. The end is never truly the end. It is part of a perpetual cycle of death and rebirth. The apocalypse isn't a final stop. It's a cosmic reset button, ensuring that life, in some form, will always continue. So, when we look at these ancient stories, we see they are so much more than simple tales. They are our collective attempt to make sense of the human condition. They are psychological survival guides, passed down through generations. From the chaos of creation to the promise of renewal, from the flawed nature of our gods to the heroic potential within ourselves, myths answer the timeless questions that echo in every human heart. They show us that no matter where we are in the world, or when we lived, we have all looked up at the same stars and asked the very same questions. They are the story of humanity, written in 1,000 different languages, but telling one single, epic tale. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this journey into our shared past, be sure to like and subscribe for more explorations into the stories that make us who we are.